Welcome to the YouTube version of episode 357 of Cash Chats with me, Andy Webb from BeCleverWithYourCash.com. This is the podcast that helps you make the most of your money. Now, since you're watching on YouTube, we've actually split the show into three separate parts. The first part is looking at the best dummy current accounts, and you can watch those in a separate video. These are essentially the accounts that you can open up and using them for switching deals without having to close down your existing account. So a lovely little hack there that could really help you out. The next part is the credit card updates for February. What you'll find out here is what Sainsbury's Bank is doing in terms of closing down many of its products at some point. There's also a new switching deal on the American Express British Airways Premium Plus credit card and also for the Asda Money credit card. Well worth both of those taking a look at. But for the rest of this one, I'm going to be looking at a listener's question and also our deals of the week. Don't forget, if you do want to listen to the podcast, you can do that within YouTube Music, or you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of those different devices and listen on the run when you're walking the dog, whatever it might be, or listen to our massive back catalogue of episodes as well. We've only got about a dozen or so here on YouTube, so that's the place to go to listen to older episodes. But let's get into it. This is episode 357 of Cash Chats. So next up, let's have a listener's question. And this one came from Joshua. And Joshua said, I currently have a 123 Lite account, and unfortunately, I don't make the monthly fee back from the cashback. I have found, though, that Santander has some really good products, such as savings accounts, but at the moment, they're not massively competitive. I don't want to lose the opportunity to open those ones if they come back, but I don't think the current fee is good value for money. I'm thinking about moving to First Direct. I've already opened the account. However, I have a few questions to ask you. Is there anything revolutionary about First Direct? And two, is it too risky to switch away from Santander? My concern is that if I switch, I can't undo it and I'll lose the access to the 123 Lite because it's no longer around. And if I understood you correctly, the Edge account isn't as good as the 123. Finally, as an account holder with Starling, Chase and Monzo, would it not be better switching to them instead? Okay, so lots to unpack there. So first of all, let's talk about First Direct. You've asked if there's anything revolutionary about First Direct. They do get really good ratings for customer service. And when I have had issues in the past, it was one of my main accounts for a while at some point, then, it was fine. But I would, other than the kind of the switching cash, which is available, so you can't get actually already, I got an account with them, and the regular saver, 7% regular saver is pretty decent. The app is okay. It's not great. I certainly wouldn't use it as my main current account. Really, they're about the switching cash and the regular saver, I would say. So yeah, I certainly wouldn't be considering them as my main account going forward. Jumping forward, you say you've already got Starling, Chase and Monzo. They are, particularly Starling and Monzo, I would say are really good apps. So I would absolutely think about using them as one of the main accounts instead. But what you've got to remember is you don't have to switch away from an account to make it your main account. You can manually move over direct debits, standing orders, things like that if you wish, and transfer cash, or you could do something that's called a partial switch. This doesn't close the old account down. It just, you select which things you want to move along. So that might make things a little bit easier. Just bear in mind, it doesn't come with the guarantees you get from a full current account switch. So I would certainly be thinking about that. Okay. So yeah, if 123 Lite is your main account, you don't want to use it, either just start using one of the accounts you've already got or do a partial switch of the things you want to move over to those accounts, and you'll have a much, much better banking experience. But I think the main crux of this, the most important thing here was your middle question there. It was about losing access to Santander extra accounts. As you say, they have offered some high-paying savings accounts over the last year exclusively for customers, and also losing out on that 123 Lite account because that is no longer available to new customers. So you're right. When you close that down, if you were to switch away or just close it completely, you're not going to get it back. But if you're not covering the fee, then you are losing out already. That's £2 a month for the 123 Lite. And you don't say how much of it you're covering of that from cashback, but if the bills aren't high enough, that would suggest to me that you're maybe not someone who pays the bills in your household. Maybe you split them out with other people you live with, or maybe you don't pay them at all. So first of all, I would think about if you are splitting them with a partner, perhaps, or maybe see if you can put the bills in your name to cover that fee, and make some money on top of that. If that isn't the case, and there's no way, you don't think there's any likelihood in the near future that you will be, and I'm talking about the next few months, that you will be paying bills high enough where the cashback will cover the fees, then there's no point keeping it. Yes, it's sad that you'll miss out on it potentially if it's still around, but Santander might, in 6 months' time, in a year's time, in 2 years' time, might turn around and say, right, existing customers, I'm really sorry, we're going to move you away to a different bank account with them. Or they might say, we're going to reduce the offering that's on there. So there's no point sticking around and paying money for something which you might never get the benefits from. What I wouldn't do, though, is if you're keen to keep with Santander, as you say, for those other offers that might come along, you can just downgrade your 123 Lite account to a normal Santander. I think they call it a select account, I think. Just open it up, just within the app, downgrade it to that account. So you're still with Santander. You've still got any sort of benefits that might come later on with them as a customer. No problem at all. That's if you want to stick with them. Absolutely, as I said, I wouldn't switch to the Lite, though, because I wouldn't switch to the Edge, because again, that has a higher fee and lower rates of cashback. So if you're not getting the cashback on the 123 Lite, you're certainly not going to be getting it on the Edge. So I hope that helps. I hope that was useful. Next up, deals of the week. So if you want to find more information about any of the things that I've spoken about in today's episode of the podcast, remember, head over to becleverwithyourcash.com. And that applies to what I'm talking about now, the deals, all of these, more information, the links, the codes, all those things, they'll be in the website as well. So I've already covered those credit card deals. Let's talk about some others. So savings deals, there are a couple of new 6% regular savers set up for Christmas. The idea is they won't necessarily last for a full 12 months, but they're kind of pay out around sort of November time. These are with Building Societies, Yorkshire Building Society and Furness Building Society. They both pay in 6%. Up to £500 a month can be added to those. I think that was the Furness one. I think the Yorkshire Building Society one is only 150 quid. But again, worth looking at. But don't forget there are higher paying regular savers available from other banks. Admittedly, most of them do require you to have a current account with them, but it's certainly worth a look at. Now, when it comes to cinema deals, a couple to share with you. There is a new website called Cinematic, and this is kind of partly funded by National Lottery and by BFI, and they are going to be doing free screenings every single month. Now, mainly is at independent cinemas, but Picture House and Reel are on there amongst the chains. Some of the light cinemas are on there as well. And the films, they might not be able to get one right now, but it's definitely worth signing up. There are still some locations available for a film at the moment, but well worth having a look at that. If you're more into Odeons, then it's worth just sort of reminding you about a deal that is ending on the 31st of January, which is 20% off their My Limitless membership. Now, I did talk about cinema memberships in an episode just a few weeks ago, whether they represent good value for money or not. Well, the Odeon one, with this 20% off, if you are going to be going to an Odeon a lot, this could be a real money saver. It's also your last chance, if you're a Lidl shopper, to go into the Lidl Plus app and spin to win. 1 in 10 people having made a purchase will win a £10 voucher. So that one also ends at the end of this month. Finally, if there's something you want to buy at Currys, then it's well worth taking along some old electronics that you no longer use, because you can swap those for a £5 voucher off a £25 spend, helping you bring the price down that little bit more. But do remember to shop around and check. You can't get it for less elsewhere, even when that voucher is factored in. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Cash Chats. In case you missed it, we had a bonus episode last week, Your Money This Month, looking at the big news stories when it comes to money and personal finance in January. So please do check that out. Let us know what you think. We're back with another full episode of Cash Chats next week. Until then, cheers.